Armour X, right?
Yes. By the way, Ryan's trying to join the meeting. Can you allow him?
Okay. Okay. Think are we live, Luca? Luca, are we live?
So do you see Ryan in the waiting room?
Yeah. So I just see his notes.
So the hype is a little bit.
Survivor, we need to feral that is on the loose. We cannot reboot the generators with
Luca, are we live?
roaming around. Your mission is simple.
We're not live.
Neutralize it
Oh, I
and
think
turn
we're
the power
live
back online.
on YouTube.
Be
Just gonna
careful.
check
The codex
X.
lists this creature as extremely aggressive, especially when it is enraged. Good luck. We are counting on you.
1 second while I check X. Okay, I think we're also live on X. Just the final sequence and our Freedom, is Ryan still joining us?
Yeah, you need to accept him. I
Survivor?
shared you the screenshot. He's just waiting for you to let him in.
I can't find him on the list. I can't find him on the waiting list. I think we'll have to start without him. Sorry about that. Can you take it from here?
Can you just invite him maybe again? Send him the invite link in the group chat. Seems like he's trying to join, so I'm not sure what's going on there.
Okay, I think he's in now. Okay, I think we're live. We're getting people in. Checking my second screen.
Okay, great.
Hi, Ryan. Welcome. We're live, and let's start now. Hi, guys, everyone.
Hey.
It's been a while since we had this, section. We had the game time. Now, in this section, we have a very exciting guest, one of our partners from Hawaii, and their game, Armour X, which we're gonna go to in a couple, details in a few minutes, has actually undergone a huge upgrade, right? For those of you who have been keeping tabs of it, it's one of the top games, we've seen you guys play in September, I think. And now, there's huge upgrades, and we want them to be the ones to tell us more about what they're building. But first, just to put it out there, Armour X or TriumphStudios, who is actually the originating builders of these games, are actually giving out a reward for this game. So they'll be announcing that at the end of the session. So all you just need to do is to fill a form. We'll give a code at the end of the call of this section rather, where you input the code to prove that you're in this AMA, and of course go ahead and test the game, try the game, and you could be one of the winners who get to take home the prizes. All right, with that out of the way, I'll let the guests introduce themselves. Hi Ryan, hi Freedom, how you guys doing?
Doing good, thanks. Freedom, you want to introduce yourself first, or?
Yeah, sure, that's fine. Hello everyone. So yeah, I'm Web3 Freedom. I'm handling partnerships and some community management for Triumph Games. And yeah, I'm glad to be here presenting Armour X again to you guys.
Great. Ryan,
I'm Ryan. I'm the strategic officer for Triumph Games. So my role and my job is basically to keep Web3 alive in the game. I know that a lot of companies at the moment seem to be removing Web3, which is a bit crazy to me, to be honest. You know, when we entered this space, we entered it seeing Web3 as disruptive technology. You know, the next evolution from free to play. We originally had paid for games that people used to do. Arcades laughed at games when they decided to make them paid for. And then they laughed again when free to play came out. They didn't think the model would work. But when you look at the free to play market, it's nearly 157 billion by 2027. So there's definitely a level of untapped market in there, and it proves that free to play works. And I think the next iteration of free to play will be skill to earn and skins to own, basically. So that's what we're going for with Armour X. So everything in the game will be customizable. You'll be able to customize your sword, customize your armor, able to wear sponsorship badges. So you could be sponsored by GAIMIN, for example, and wear a GAIMIN logo on the back, and they could obviously support you for sponsorship, whether they support you with in-game items for the big arena jewels that come out, or whether obviously other companies want to sponsor you in other ways. It's a really good way because obviously your character will be attached to your wallet. And people will be able to, you know, send you any sort of bonuses to help you get further through the game. The game itself is very inspired by Dark Souls and also games like Monster Hunter. So myself, I were a big Monster Hunter Frontier player. So this were a Japanese exclusive game that was basically the hardest iteration of Monster Hunter. Probably the second hardest iteration is probably, I'd say Iceborne is probably the second hardest iteration. Or Monster Hunter Ultimate 4 is probably considered one of the hardest versions. So the game is currently going through a makeover. When I say that, this particular game that we're playing now, this was played so that we could find out what kind of PCs and what kind of devices people are playing on. So this is a very optimized high-end build. What I mean by that is the character itself that you're seeing now with the sword, that one character is 200,000 polygons. That means that in that character there's 200,000 triangles. So essentially it means that it's a big model. So what we're building now is we're building a lighter version because we understand that people have lower end devices and we want to cater for everyone in Web3. So the new devices and the new model spec is 10,000 polygons. So we're going from 200,000 down to 10,000. So this means that people with lower spec machines will still be able to play the game. And we're also building mobile first in our head as well. So the game has different supported weapons. So the first 3 weapons that will release is the one you're seeing now, which is a grape sword. And then we'll have the second weapon, which will be the Nodachi. The Nodachi is a very fast weapon. And it's basically used to create entry. What I mean by that is in PvP, if you're attacking someone and you're on the 3rd hit of the combo, you can actually cancel the 3rd hit and start back at the 1st hit. So you can use combo cancels to basically outsmart your opponents. And then the 3rd weapon we're working on is the bow. So we're going to have a lot of variety in the game. And it is going to be a skin first system. So the Web3 side of things will be a mixture of, you pull on the gacha. So if people are familiar with gachas, it's basically a banner system. You draw on the banner, and there'll be a free banner that you can earn from playing the game for free currency. And then you'll also have a second currency, which will be the premium currency. And we also have a freemium currency as well. So we're going to be having a free currency system. And the reason we've got that in place is just to make the game a lot easier and more accessible to free-to-play players. You know, we don't want to alienate people who are free-to-play in Web3. The design of the game is very different for the beta version. It's way more polished. The character animations are way more smoother. We've used custom animations to basically create that feel. So what you're seeing now is the character has different combos. The person playing has not showed it yet. So if you just, I'll show you. So Yeah, Soldier Iron Fist 291. So the thing is, we wanted to make your names unique as well. So the names are actually available on the Immutable Marketplace. So we do actually have like a codex system, we call it. So if you want a unique name, you can pick up a unique name from the marketplace, or you can earn your name by playing the game. At the moment, there's 3,000 names minted. So people have actually managed to earn their name in the game. Which, you know, it's really hard to part with your own name, isn't it, Stephen? I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So the sword charges through kinetic energy. What that means is you don't have to actually hit the enemy to charge it. So you can just do 3 heavy attacks, and you'll see that you'll get a 1 sword charge. So do 3 more. And then if you just do 3 more, that'll take you up to the 3 charge. So now you've got 3 charges. So if you attack with left, right, and then hit the alt key, that'll do the special. So left, right, and then out. So left, right, and then out.
It's good. You know, the users are saying part of the reasons why, you know, we actually stream it for ourselves is we get the POV of what it looks like for a first-time user who isn't, you know, aware of the skills, the moves, but, you know, getting, you know, to see you actually show it to look at is actually very interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think that a lot of games in the space are not actually playable. So seeing a playable game, it kind of gives you a feel for what the vision of the IP is. So we are currently, we have the Genesis NFTs, which was the first 1,500. They are live, but we're also doing something called the Clone Collection. And the clones are basically to allow more people into the game and grow our community, essentially. You know, this isn't an extraction technique. This is to basically bring more people into the game, understand the IP, and understand Triumph overall, really. So with the 3 games that we have Play Illumia, which is an MMORPG. You can download that on Google Play currently. It's also playable on PC. Then we have Battle Rise, which is also downloadable on mobile. And Armour X, we are focused to making it a mobile-first game. So they're the 3 that we're currently running. There is plans of a 4th game. We haven't given any details yet, but the 4th game will be more casual. That's all I can say on it. I can't give too much away. But we are aiming to do a more casual game. So we've got a hardcore game, a mid-core game. Then we've got an MMO, and then an action game.
Okay.
So yeah, we're
doing a hardcore game, you know, just for, you know, people you know, watching. Do you mean in terms of device or in terms of, you know, development? Just explain what, you know, hardcore and is it more
mid-core is a game like Raid Shadow Legends, or, you know, a trading card game. It's something that requires a level of skill to play, and an understanding deeper into the mechanics. Hardcore means that, you know, there are things like permanent death. So if you die in the game, your character is lost. So there are permanent death mods, but the permanent death mods will be given the best rewards. Maybe even, you know, a big player pool on prizes for top 100. I'm giving too much away. You know, all this is going to come out soon anyway.
That's the point of know, this to give the users a POV to, you know, give you know those people, you know, deeper understanding about the project. And speaking in that line, just give us a sense of how important experience. You made mention of how, you know, companies are removing Web3, or how, you know, Web3 games that can be translated as a lot of Web3 games going out, you know, lately. But how much of that would you attribute to these companies not actually, or these projects not actually taking experience, like going, you know, into experience first and then Web3 second? What are your thoughts on that?
So the main thing around why Web3 first, and I'll tell you exactly why. The main reason for Web3 first is retention. So we find that Web3 creates a very strong retention system that basically means that players are enjoying what they're doing. They're telling other people that they enjoy what they're doing, and it encourages more people to get deeper into the economy side. So Web2 is basically you come in, you're training, you're learning, And then if you want to do the end game content and the harder stuff, that's when you have to, take the path for Web3. But that means that you're already invested in the game in a time sense. It doesn't have to be monetary value. It needs to be a case of, I really enjoy this game. I enjoy playing this game. I'm getting good at this game. I want to be, fighting the high end stuff. So like there's a monster in Monster Hunter, and it's literally the hardest boss in the world. Like it uses fire and ice at the same time. So it uses ice to freeze you and then fire to basically burn you. And it can take you out in like literally 2 hits. So you've got to try and find a certain tactic. And the thing is, if you're playing with people who are new to the game, you're going to struggle because these people are not used to all the mechanics in the game. So you have to, go through everything. Sorry, I was just watching what was going on screen. So, you're doing quite well, actually. Let's see if you can get the kill. You can use boosters as well, by the way. If you press 9, that doubles your damage. You've got 1 booster left. So if you press 9, it'll double your damage. Oh yeah, careful of the... sorry, getting distracted by the game. But yeah, the way we kind of built the game is in mind that we want to focus on Web3. We want to see this as an esports game. Like, imagine that, you are fighting in an arena versus each other, and, there's a really clutch move coming, or someone ends up grabbing you and taking you to the floor, and starts doing, like, MMA moves on you. There's, like, certain things that you can do with the new beta version. Like, you're able to catch their sword. So if they're using light attacks rather than heavy attacks, you can actually catch their sword and take them to the ground. So the kind of viral moments that it creates from that are pretty huge, because you have a really decent player and you don't know who's going to win. And we want to have like a prediction market play into that as well. So basically people can, decide whether they want to play the game or whether they want to support their creators. So we have like 2 different ways to play the game. We can't just be, game first. We have to be game first and basically allow people to play the game outside of the game.
This is very interesting. It's one of the questions, I had selected in terms of, how you guys have actually baked, esports, because, there are games that are more susceptible to, be used as esports to be competitive, right? So how would you say, what role would you say, esports in making this game competitive has been in terms of, the production of the game?
So the hardest part of the game, creating it, is probably the servers, because the thing is, the matchmaking in the servers is what's going to make the game. So, you don't want to fight someone who's in Southeast Asia and they're in Central Europe, because the problem is you'll have a higher ping. So we've had to create a matchmaking system from the lobby that basically allows people to queue up with people of same skill level. So that's why we've introduced what we call a CP system, which is combat power. So the combat powers are matched together, and then it's matched on region. So using these 2 matchmaking filters, it means that you either fight someone who is of the same skill, or you fight someone who's in the same region, which means that, it's a more fair fight.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense. Hopefully we get to see, Armour X at the EWC.
Yeah, well, I think we'll get there eventually. We've got really good contacts within the gaming spaces. We do have an esports contact as well that we are dealing with. Obviously, I can't share too much information, but they're pretty excited about the esports concept. How viral can the moment go? Where, let's say that someone's nearly dying. You've seen it in Street Fighter, haven't you? Where people are on like literally 10% health. Someone will pull off a super combo. They'll block every single hit and then come back, and that comeback just makes everyone go crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
It happens all the time, and I think those viral moments is what's going to create our viral content, because players become their own content systems then, and what they also become is sponsors. So you're basically wielding your Formula 1 car. That's the easiest way to explain it. You can decorate yourself with stickers, you can decorate yourself with certain modifications. Like, let's say you're an Xborg fan, you could probably use like an Xborg armor if you want to use an Xborg armor, or sponsors can pay to have their own armors designed. Like, the actual cost for us in the 3D art department is quite high, because everything is modeled manually from scratch. We don't like to use, you know,
Extraction team granted access.
AI is not there yet. It can't create
Here they come.
the details that are needed. Like when you create an asset in a game, you have to create a high polygon asset, then the textures, and then you have to create a low polygon from that, which basically means it's optimized to play in the game at that point. Because if you're running your GPU, your computer and your graphics card, your graphics card is taking all the work because it's trying to render everything in the game. Whereas if it's CPU, you're not having to worry so much about the rendering of the game. You're just focusing more on the models that are actually moving. So the controls, you know, everything else in the game that goes with it, really. But yeah, we're really looking forward to the PvP. We've got 1v1 fights, and then we've got 5v5 death matches as well. We've been testing it internally with the death matches, and really good feedback. People are having a lot of fun with it.
I'm sure they will. You made mention of AI, which is a very interesting thing to talk about. You know, do you feel like, what roles do you feel AI can play in your game? I mean, it's okay if it, you know, like you said, if it doesn't, but just for the future and also for the industry at large, what role do you think AI could play in not just game production, but also even player experience and whatnot?
Well, on the Armour X side of the IP, we're actually using a product called Coda, which is developed by the Play Variance team over on the Somnia chain. And we've basically having modified their code to train our IP. So, like, for example, if you go onto the Armour X website, you'll be able to scroll through and see some of the PFPs that have been created directly through this. But what people are doing is they're creating videos from that, and they're actually imagining themselves as that person. But Grok is getting better with anime, and also Coda does have its own video as well, so you can create video with Coda. I can't tell you too much about it, you know, obviously I can't divulge what actually goes on with it, but you know, you use cloud credits to basically call the API. So you describe what you see, and then it will create it at that point, and it will generate the character. So if you just want to flip from the game and just quickly check the Twitter for Play Armour X, you'll be able to see, you know, what our intern's been doing. Intern's pretty crazy though, so be careful with some of the comments. They're not all PC.
So
but it's having fun.
Just looking at this, man, like the graphics, you know, I mean, I have to give you guys, you know, a huge thumbs up on the graphics. Like, you know, the way the characters, you know, move, like, pretty much, you know, impressive. I can't even imagine the amount of work you guys have put in, you know, while I just opposed it to what, you know, the first version was looking like. This is pretty great work. But then on the AI side, I think AI still has, you know, quite a role to play, but I think it's going to be more on the players inside and less on product development, right? Because
I think so over time,
a game that is actually implementing this is chess. For example, chess is a game I play a lot, and there's this thing after the game, there's this character, AI character, whatever, that analyzes your game and tells you how things you could have done better. Maybe this is something, at least that part is what I think, you know, we're going to see more of in other games. But that's just my opinion anyways. Then
I think AI is still very early when it comes to actually thinking about, you know, the in-game play stuff, because it's very difficult for AI to model and understand what actually goes on. You know, you see a head. The head is made up of eyes, nose, mouth, ears, and then the hair. But the thing is, AI doesn't understand that the hair has to be separate. Like, the way you model hair is completely different to how you model the character. But it just sees it as one asset, and then it just hits it with a poorly made texture. So the actual topology, which is the way that the polygons line up, is completely wrong for a game. You know, you can't build a game through AI. You can vibe code a game, don't get me wrong, you can do that and then insert the assets later, but the polish won't be there. And that's the thing that you have to, you know, have manual people. Like, we've got altogether in Triumph 30 people, I think, altogether. That's including the marketing team. So yeah, we have quite a few people who are specialised in certain areas. Like a lot of our staff is a mixture of Gameloft, ex-employees, Game Workshop, and also Ubisoft. So we've got very good tenure and very good experienced people actually creating and developing these games. Yeah, they're looking really good at the moment, but we want it to be more than a game, if that makes sense. Like what we're doing with Armour X is we want people to live their own fantasy, so their hero becomes them, if that makes sense. Like we've got one guy called Marvin, and he's made up this big story about how his headband is able to make females like him, basically. So he's like, it's like a bit crazy. Like you can check the stories, and people have made all these different stories up about their characters. Like we've got Neptune, and he's a commander for an army that lives by the ocean. You see what I mean? And the thing is, over time, as AI gets better, people will be able to make their full stories and actually live their creators. So they'll be able to make a full anime just by prompting. You can already do it now, really. If you're good at story, you can prompt each individual scene, but it does take a long time. Whereas Grok is introducing a feature where you can literally just make a full video. You can just tell it what you want in each scene, and then it'll play out all the scenes for you, and then you just edit the scenes however you want to change it.
Yeah, I feel like we'll probably sleep on this podcast if we're going to the various verticals. There's a broad application of things we can apply, to game development and even player experience, AI, Web3, which we're already doing, even the metaverse, like you hinted on. But then let's talk about another feature, which here gaming has always been our core tenet, which is monetization. How important is monetization, or just the general concept of play to earn, to not just your game Armour X, but just your view on the gaming industry?
So the gaming industry in general, or just how we plan to monetize?
Yeah, you can start with you guys, like how critical play to earn elements, both the one offered at the gaming level or the launcher level, or just the ones you have implemented in your game, and then maybe you can expand to what you think is going.
We have two games that are monetized currently. So Battle Rise is currently monetized through a premium shop. So you're able to use either a battle pass, or you're able to buy items and character shards through blind boxes. So that's how we see things working. But what we actually want to do is with the Triumph token, once it launches, we'll actually look to buy back revenue, buy back the token through revenue. So we have actually set aside, I think, 70% of total monthly fees to actually go towards buying back the token. Which basically means we create an ecosystem where people are selling their assets, marketplace fees are coming back from them selling them assets, the marketplace fees are going into the treasury, and then those funds are getting pushed back into developing the game. But what we didn't want to do is we didn't want to add a governance system, because the problem with governance is it's majority, basically. So the thing is, if you introduce governance, the majority vote always wins. So you can never really have a true voting system with a governance, because if one person's got 1 million token and another person's got 50 token, the only way to do that is if you weight the community by saying this person is active in the community, so his activity actually gives him a 50 times bonus, and things like that, really, to try and balance it out. But we've seen DAOs try to be successful, but a lot of DAOs have crumbled from the inside out. I'm sure you've seen the same, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, it's a slippery slope, in terms of DAOs, and that's why even the narrative on its own, standing alone outside gaming or whatever, or DeFi or whatever, has not actually stood the test of time. The way other narratives like DeFi or GameFi have. That sounds good. And also, just to have on your point, monetization is something, we actually take, very, very seriously here at gaming. We actually believe that, in just that idea of gamers being able, gaming being able to go beyond the passion and having some financial or, just reward incentives, baked into it, so that it's not just something you do for the experience. The experience is good, of course, it will keep remaining the case, but at least in a case where people are able to earn and even transact within games, right? That is something I believe is very, very possible in the near future. We're already doing it anyway, so yeah. And so, that would lead to another. Sorry, did you want to?
Yeah, I was going to say the other thing we believe in is gaming guilds. So they're actually going to end up pushing Web3 beyond, what anyone could think. So we actually sponsored a guild called Tempest Guild. They're Latin America, and they basically create content for different games. So they are sponsored by us, Illuvium, Wildcard, and some others. And they basically are going around the world introducing people to Web3 gaming. The thing that we eventually want to see is obviously these guilds become esports teams, or their best players become esports teams, because the only time you get great competition is when you pitch the best against the best. You wouldn't put Muhammad Ali against I don't want to say anyone else, because obviously that'll be slanderous. But you get what I'm saying.
No, you definitely kick my ass. So.
Yeah, put him against Stephen, and obviously Muhammad Ali had come out on top. So the thing is, you want Muhammad Ali versus the equivalent of Muhammad Ali, which is what gaming guilds. You've got 2,000, 3,000 people who all play the same game. 5 or 6 of those people might become the best in the world at that game for that particular area. And then you pitch them against each other, and that's fun to see. It's fun to see, games being played in ways we didn't think games could be played. We've seen that with Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. There's some people out there who play the game on such an exceptional level that even the developers didn't know the game could be played like that. And I think that's the exciting point, is when we actually see people implement esports techniques. And then other people copy it as well. And then what happens is people who copy those techniques, they might make a slight variation, and then that might become the new meta, which is like the best, basically, meta. I'm going to say what meta is, but I don't think it will. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, thinking of it, what you just mentioned is something very, very powerful. In fact, something I've noticed personally. I've noticed that it's only in the competitive sense, in the competitive environment, esports or whatever you want to call it. When people play a game competitively, they actually discover new ways the games can be played. For example, I'll call it a random game, FIFA, for example. You see some controls, you scroll through TikTok, you see this pro esports or very good competitive players. Yet controls they're making, like, I didn't even know this game could do that. I'm sure PlayStation.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like choosing lower tier players, but obviously they come out on top because they've got the highest striking power, for example. So they might have the lowest speed but the highest strike. So it's like people find, I think once you monetize a game, as in you actually offer rewards, that's when people actually try and play the game competitively. And I think that's why Web3 opens up so much. I'm going to stop calling it Web3, by the way. I think we should call it crypto gaming. That's what it is. It's gaming with crypto, isn't it, really? So we should call it that. Because we've created, over these last years, we've created a divide between standard players, normal gaming players, they play just normal games, and Web3 games. We've tried so hard to separate it for so long that we've finally got that separation. You're calling it Web2 game, you're calling it Web3 game. That's the separation. And then what you're trying to do is you're trying to onboard new gamers who are, we call them Web2 gamers, but essentially they're just gamers across the board.
Yeah, it's just gaming.
We've done it to ourselves, really, as an industry. The industry has alienated gamers from crypto gamers.
Yeah, that's something we are trying to change, because initially, for example, the GAIMIN Launcher, people had the impression that the GAIMIN Launcher was a Web3 game launcher, and no, the GAIMIN Launcher is a launcher for games, right? You launch games, play games. So if you're whatever type of game, you are RPG, card game, Web3 game, Web2 game, fine, but it's just gaming. Right? Whatever attributes you put to it does not change the fact that the activity is gaming, and for the reasons, those who are engaging with the activity, that's the gamers actually engage with it. So this is also another great point. And I feel like this activity of differentiating Web 2, Web 3 is causing more harm than good, especially on the
Yeah,
web.
I agree. The thing is, with that disconnect, what you've got to do is you're trying to plug that in now, but you're told not to eat spicy food. You're never going to eat spicy food again because you didn't like it. You might like it further down the line when you try it again in the future, but because you had that one bad experience, that's what you remember. And that's kind of where we are with Web3 gaming, or crypto gaming, as I like to call it. And I will keep calling it crypto gaming.
Absolutely. Makes sense.
It's true, isn't it? You try something, you don't like it, and you never go back to try it again. And that's kind of...
And the whole experience behind Web3, like there's this negative experience behind Web3 that has made people, even when you have, let's say, good products, a good initiative, a good idea, so far when people say that is associated with Web3, there seems to be like this sentiment, right, of it not being a long-term product or it just being a short-term hype kind of a thing.
Yeah.
It's up to us, those who are actually building, because I mean, how did we get here? We got here because a lot of people who went in the game long term, just wanted to make quick buzz and failed, the community, failed the audience. And now the burden is now on us, the rebuilders, to actually change the narrative and tell people that, hey, this is actually the new phase where it does not change what used to be. It's the same things we're doing every day as humans: gaming, finance, voting, but in a different way, in a new technology, basically. So yeah, I agree with you, a lot on that. So back to the game. So where do we go from here? Like, could you tease, any major updates, or especially the ones most requested from the community? Where actually do
Yeah, so for us, what's taking time at the moment is not the actual development of the game, it's development of the service. Because we want to have 4 major areas. We want to have Southeast Asia, we want to have Central America, Central Europe, and then probably maybe UK. Not decided yet.
Yeah. So so if I understand that correctly, you guys are actually kind of working on the CDN, the content delivery network, right? Correct?
Yeah, pretty much. So we're trying to we're still looking at probably April for beta launch, but we will have internal community tests before that time. But meanwhile, the alpha is pretty successful. We've got roughly 400 people playing daily on the alpha version, which is pretty interesting. Whereas obviously Illumia, we've got I think nearly 2,000 people daily, and then Battle Rise is roughly around that same figure. So the fact that the game's still in alpha, coming into beta, it seems like we've got a really good audience, to be honest. We're going to keep working on that as well, growing the actual audience. But yeah, we'll listen to the community on the feedback. We have content creators who are playing the game, enjoying the game, and they're giving feedback as well. So feedback like, we need to make the movement a little bit smoother, so we're making smoother movement. They want us to do competitions, so we're planning competitions. They want us to add guilds into the game, so we're looking to add guilds into the game. But the game itself, we're going to release the first iteration of it as a PvP game, and then we'll build the story mode after that. But there will be the way of playing the game, getting the items in the game, to craft the better weapons, and essentially play with borrowed power. There's always a thing called power creep in games. So let's say that you're level 50 in a game, you get all the end game gear, and then level 60 comes out. That next 10 levels is what we call a power creep. So that's basically how you advance beyond, where you are currently is level 50 to level 60. World of Warcraft does that very well, with the power creep in that system, and Guild Wars 2 as well. Guild Wars 2 has a really good power creep. But yeah, it just takes time to develop and build games. There's no secret to it. It genuinely takes time, from the planning to the actual development, even the UIs. Making the UI intuitive, making the game playable. that's what all takes time.
We need to deal
Yeah.
with the feral that
I
is
mean,
on the
it
loose.
takes
We cannot reboot the generators with
I mean,
bad things roaming
good
around.
things take time,
Your
you know,
mission is
tough
simple.
things, you know,
Yeah.
are hard,
Neutralize
of
it
course.
until we get it back
And
online.
speaking of, you know, the service,
Careful.
hopefully
The
that is
project's
something,
list
because
is
it's
clear
something we're
and
actually
extremely
working, you
aggressive,
know, in the
especially when it
future.
gets away.
As you know,
Good luck.
gaming is
We are
actually
counting on
also
you.
in the cloud business. And the whole premise is that, you know, sitting on this network of, you know, call it, you know, distributed nodes. There are a lot of things we can achieve with this. Of course, we're using it for, you know, delivering games. For example, users are able to download your games easily, you know, from anywhere around the world, cheaper, because of our content, our file sharing service. And we're possibly in the near future, you know, that could be something in a use case we look into, because a lot of game developers we've spoken with have highlighted this issue of content delivery, and hopefully this is something we can provide, you know, service. So hopefully when you guys get to that point, gaming becomes, you know,
Node
the
available.
service provider
What
in
should we
that
do?
case.
Mm.
Yeah.
No, I think that, you know, with time, a lot of these different products will leave the trenches. You know, we're calling it trenches because, you know,
Yeah.
we're building in crypto, and then obviously the main goal is to issue mass adoption. So it will come with time.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, that you can see every day that the space is getting better. The products are getting better. The UI UX are getting better. We're just getting better quality creators in the space now, and I think that's what happens when the market is down. People actually go into build mode and actually, you know,
Mhm.
put their head down and get whatever it is they're building built. Like, we'll probably have this ready, the new version, in maybe 3-4 months. So
Yeah.
that's a really cool timeline. But yeah, like I said, we'll have community testing between that as well.
What do you want to do, Survivor?
But yeah, we're just building something fun. I suppose that's, you know, what every game says. It's a fun game, but, you know, this is actually a fun game. So the fact that you can play it like I'm guessing Luke is playing now, where he's just running around and just, you know, chilling out a bit and using the enemies to kill stuff. But yeah, there's like different ways to play the game. You know, you could play it passive aggressive, you could play it fully aggressive, you could play defensive. But this is just basically a teaser. You know, think of beyond the demo. When you create a game, you create the framework, then you create the MVP. Then the MVP moves to a vertical slice, and then from the vertical slice, you create the alpha build or the pre-alpha build, and then from the alpha, you develop the beta. So that's when you actually introduce players. But in Web3, what we're doing is we're showing people the game every step of the way. So our community is seeing this game develop from day one. And I think that's why, you know, we've got such a strong community. We've got 15,000 people in Discord, probably about 3,000, 4,000 people active, which is pretty crazy. And obviously the combined socials, we've roughly got about 250,000 people now on socials. So yeah, I think as a business, we're doing pretty well. We are making revenue, which is good. And basically that revenue is just getting put straight back into development and marketing of the game. And I think that's what should be done. You know, we're in builder mode at the moment, but once we move from builder to distribution, we've just obviously signed an agreement with a publisher. So for those who don't know, Warp Chain, we've partnered with Warp Chain to basically, you know, bring gaming to the masses. So crypto gaming is going to be something that is going to be disruptive technology, and it is coded to be the next big thing in gaming.
Yeah. And, you know, just for the viewers, crypto gaming does not, you know, this is not to take away, you know, the work, you know, that has been put in the experience. Crypto gaming just refers to the, you know, the finance, you know, the economy within the game. So instead of that being used for in the traditional sense, crypto is being used for that, because, I mean, this is in spirit of correcting the Web3 sentiments. But yeah, thanks, Ryan. This has been very, very insightful. Just one last thing. You know, do you mind sharing, you know, more on the rewards for this session?
Yeah, so we're working with Kodo at the moment. We are going to be doing a mint. The mint is cheap. what we're doing with those funds is we're creating a treasury on the Somnia
What
chain.
should we do?
The whitelist price is $10 and the public mint is $20. So we've had really good reception. People are enjoying, the actual NFTs themselves. And they are fully AI created as well, which means that when you actually generate a video from them, it's pretty accurate because it's already AI. So it knows how to translate those particular still images. So the reason we're doing this as well is to increase the community and actually give people a way to, get into the game. We asked the community, we said to the community, do you want us to do $10 Steam access or Epic access, or do you want us to do an NFT mint? And everyone were like, yeah, we'll do an NFT mint. But I think what we'll do for you guys is, if you want to, we can do some whitelist giveaways as well to actually bring people from the gaming community into our community as well, and obviously, take a deeper dive into the game. I'm guessing that someone listening to this Space Now or X feed, I'll call it X feed. I know we're on Twitch and obviously X as well. So, yeah, on this X feed, I assume that there'll be someone out there who becomes one of the best players in the game. And yeah, we'll definitely look forward to meet you. So there's a writer challenge. I've dropped the banner.
Absolutely. So we'll be sharing the form. So the way this is going to work, of course, we need to know, now that you guys know, the rewards, we need to have a way of validating viewers. So we'll be sharing a form. You'll be seeing that on whatever platform you are streaming this. For those on YouTube, you'll be seeing it on YouTube. For those watching on the GAIMIN Launcher, you'll also be seeing it there. And for those streaming out live from X, you'll be seeing that. So fill that form. Right, it proves that you are this AMA. You'll be asked basic questions to prove that you are this AMA and that you have downloaded the gaming app and tried Armour X. And then we look forward to your giveaway, as promised, as you've heard from the horse mouth. So the code for today, because you'll be asked that in the form, the code for today is WIN. So WIN is the code for today. So fill the form and input the code WIN, and you could get a special whitelist from our guests today. Okay. All right. I think we are coming to the end of the section. Any final things you want to say? Any concluding notes, Ryan?
Yeah, I want to do a prize. So basically, we have a Genesis collection. So I want to give away 1 to the audience, and I want to give away 4 to completers of the form. So yeah, we'll do 5 total NFTs given away. These are currently on Arbitrum, but they can also be on Solana as well.
All right. I think the way we're going to do that, the form will actually pick the winners. So guys, yes, the forms are here. I can see it already on my second screen on YouTube, and I think on X too. Luca, can you send the form on X? I don't think the guys on X have the form link yet. Please share the form link and the code. Again, guys, the code is WIN, W-I-N, WIN is the code for today. All right, thanks, Ran, on behalf of gaming and our community. We hope to see more from the awesome games. I'm pretty sure the only way is up. The progress from the last version to this version is so huge that I can't even imagine what's going to be updated in the next version. But
I'll show you, Stephen. I'll send them in our group. I'll show you what the game's looking like now, so you can have the first glance, and you can get people excited by it. But it's going to be hard. The game is not built to be easy. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
Absolutely. All right, guys. So guys, also expect more from not just in terms of development, but immediately after this section, I think also this week, we'll try to organize, a contest, a mini contest in our Discord channel. So make sure you are in the Discord channel. I think that also has its own rewards from, the Armour X team. So come prove your skills, and also make sure to try the game out and other games on our platform. We're always trying to bring you guys, exciting new games, on our platform. And if you have favorites, right? If you have favorites, your favorite games, you can also import your favorite games on the GAIMIN Launcher and play and earn. But in general, play Armour X and you get rewarded, via the monetization feature on our platform. All right, guys. I think that wraps it up for today. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks, Freedom. Thanks, Luca. Thanks, everyone, for joining in, for tuning in. I think we surpassed. Right now, we're on 50 streamers on X alone. I'll check the other platforms, but I think we're well over 70, or even 100 tune-ins, total tune-ins. So it's been a very engaging section. Hope to have you guys again sometime soon. On that note, we conclude the session. Bye, guys. I'll see you in the next episode.